I can only describe this presentation as now something completely different. And I apologise. First of all, now I make no apologies for spelling mistakes. I noticed one I just had to change. But if there are spelling mistakes, please let me know. But I'm dyslexic, and there's obviously a couple of obvious ones. And I changed this quite late last night, and understanding that if you don't have enough sleep, you can actually act like you've been drinking a lot. It may well seem like I've been drinking too much whilst I've been doing this. But before I do the presentation, obviously Ian Stevens from the St Mary's Trust Occupational Health was meant to do his little bit, and thank you for our stepping speaker, very good. He sent me an email last night sort of outlining what they do, and in the context of the sort of signposting and those sort of bits and pieces, I thought it was important just to relay some of the information he put in the email. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it because he had an operation which he got a late call for on Friday, so he had to cancel. But in the email, he set out what the occupational department do. They don't just do it for the hospital; they can do it into the wider industry and do it health surveillance and health checking and pre-employment checks and those sort of things for companies outside of the NHS. So they go into commercial companies and do health surveillance and health checks. But he did make one very, very important point, which is there's a misconception, I think, in the industry, or he thinks in the industry, especially with the businesses he goes into, that employers think that health and well-being as a philosophy is a kind of a bolt-on. There's a misconception that if they give free gym passes and they put a poster in the tea room and they have bring an apple to day work, bring an apple to work day, get it right, that is actually going to reduce the chance of their staff getting either going off with stress or bad backs. And he says it's absolutely not. Those are bolt-ons to what needs to be a holistic approach to health and well-being of yourself and your staff. Because there's obviously people at the top of the business that are paying for the health surveillance and the health checking and those sort of things for their staff, but they're just as vulnerable from aspects with regard to well-being and stress because they're actually running the businesses themselves. So we have to make sure it's a holistic approach, that we look at the individual and we look at the human factor, as we've spoken with Kate just now, about actually getting to know the individuals and treating people as individual, as human beings, and making sure that we look at all the elements of supporting their well-being. When I spoke to the construction industry probably about 6 months ago and suggested that we were going to do this, I brought in this as a prop, which is kind of a visual prop with regard to, we all know what this does on a construction site, we all know what these do on a construction site, and we all know what these are for on a construction site. They are to protect one aspect of our being. So if I said to anybody, what does this protect? You know, it protects your head. And I kind of suggested, well, we want to make sure what we're protecting is worth protecting, which is what goes on inside your head, your mind. There's no bit of kit for well-being on a construction site. It's about a philosophy, it's about a mindset, and it's about making sure that we're all caring human beings for the people that we work with and live with in the community. Right, that's the preaching bit. Right, and as I said before, and now something completely different. Right. Most of you know me as Danny, CDM coordinator, health and safety advisor for the Stars, etc., etc. But I also have another little small business along with my stone carving business, which is nicely being promoted by John here, the Fit Mindset. And this is about health, well-being, and nutrition being the operative word with regard to improving your own personal health and your holistic approach to health. And exercise as well. Okay, so we are, we're going to click it going. Next one, that one, yeah, there we go, introduction. Right, these are a couple of things I've picked off the internet with regard to, I said, amusing comments with regard to nutrition. That's what I Googled. And yeah, there's no we in food. We all like our own dinner, don't we? We don't like to share. Someone was suggesting that they could find organic donuts because they would be the healthy option. And as I said to Janet earlier on, she's not here now, chocolate bar in each hand is a balanced diet. So quick disclaimer and caveat, you probably know I'm not a doctor, this is not health advice. If you do have any health conditions, conditions, then please, or allergies, go and see your GP and your doctor. Yeah, I have to say that at the beginning because otherwise people think I'm actually a qualified GP. Right, quick overview. We're going to look at a few questions for you guys to answer. We're going to have a little numbers game just to lighten the mood a little bit, okay? A little bit of fun, see what you know about food. We're going to look at the difference between diet, nutrition, and health versus fitness, because again, there's a misconception that if you do one, it actually is what it is. You know, being on a diet is something which is healthy, which actually is the complete opposite generally. There's first spelling mistake. Have we seen that? Yeah, we're going to look at some studies on food and mindset. We're going to look at hormones, which is important because you mentioned your gut, but one of the things which is, I think, slightly more important than that, which is a byproduct of your gut health, which is your hormones and how they are affected by what you eat. And then a little bit of food mindset, and then my guide to nutrition. Okay, which is not rocket science, trust me. It's not going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be pretty. My adage, trouble with common sense is not very common. Yeah, this is all common sense. Okay. Right, some questions first of all. So put your hands up if this is you. Okay. Right, who here is 100% happy with their current size, shape, or weight? Two of you. Two of you are room 20. Okay. Right. Not 100%.
95.
Yeah. Well, exactly. When I put 100%, am I 100% happy with my size, weight, shape, or? No, I'm not. Okay. And me and him, we work incredibly hard at looking fantastic. Yeah. As I said, when Claire Mosnell came in, I know Claire from when she was a gobby teenager, and she said, "Oh look, there's Nigel," and she talked to me about my health and well-being and the competition I did, and I said, "Well, I did it with Nigel." I said, "If you think I look good in the underpants, you want to see Nigel because he looks even taller." So I said, even I was impressed. Yeah. A little bit of a man crush, Nigel, you know that. So. Right. Who here has eaten unhealthy, and I'll put in little quote marks, because of emotions, foods such as ice cream, sugar-based snacks, sweets and chocolate?
In what time span?
Today. Who here has eaten unhealthy foods because of emotions? Who's gone to the fridge because they didn't feel like they were in a good state of mind? Yeah, I think pretty much all of us. Yeah. Okay. Who here has felt guilty about those actions after you've done it? Did you feel guilty or not particularly happy with yourself after you've just eaten that whole tub of ice cream? Yeah. Most of us. Yeah. Who here knows why we do this? Does anybody know why we have this cyclical thing?
I don't know. Waste anything.
Waste not wonder. That's a reason. And
a very deliberately cooked
and a very good one. Right, so the emotional state is I don't feel very happy with myself and I don't want to waste that tub of ice cream that's in the fridge. Yeah? So I can see where you're coming from, John. Yeah. Right. So in a minute I will identify why we have this cycle of feeling low and then going to the fridge for some a pickup, and then after we've had the pickup, then feeling just as bad or even worse about what we've just done, and then having to go back to the fridge to try and then make better what you've just started. Okay. Right, last question. This is a difficult one, okay, and I want an honest answer. Okay. Who here has ever been addicted to salad?
Me, I'm so addicted. I love salad. I literally love it.
One person is addicted. I'm addicted to salad, yeah. You don't really hear that, do you? No one is going to steal from their granny to serve their salad addiction. Yeah? It doesn't happen. Yeah? No one here sits there in the evening and goes, do you know what, I'm going to sit down, watch a nice movie and have a nice bowl of rocket. That doesn't happen. Yeah? Yes. Because salad doesn't have the effect on our internal hormonal response that other foods which have the high GI numbers, those sweets, chocolate, food, the cakes, ice cream, etc., doesn't have the effect on that. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't be eating it. All right. All right, good honest answer though. I'm very impressed that you're addicted to salad. Yeah. Right, the problem we all face. Our physical health affects our mental health. Yeah? Our mental health affects our decision making. Our decisions affect how we feel and when we're good about ourselves, feel good about ourselves. And usually 99% of our decisions are bad ones. Yeah? So it's a cycle. So how we feel makes our decisions. Our decisions are normally bad ones. The bad ones then perpetuate the bad decision making because what we eat affects our hormones, which then affects our mental state. So you're in this continual cycle of feeling bad about yourself, eating to make yourself feel better, and then the problem gets worse. And then obviously there's an outcome for eating unhealthy and high GI foods and overeating those sort of foods, because obviously that's weight gain. And in some cases it actually can be weight loss if you're not actually eating the calories that you need, because we all know about the disorders which actually are just as bad a cycle going the other way. Yeah? But I'm not here to solve those ones. This is just about the general process which happens with regard to what happens when we eat our food. Okay? Okay, and then the cycle loops again. Right. So, first of all, spot the interesting picture there. Right, we'll spot it straight away. Okay. Again, there's a misconception that body shape, yeah, and body size and body weight is an indicator of health, and 100% it is not. I would say, out of all those pictures there is only one picture which, in my view, indicates a holistic approach to health. Yeah. Who wants to have a hazard a guess?
Middle top.
Middle. Which one are we looking at?
The lady in the middle top.
Marilyn. Cocaine, heroin addict,
But
alcoholic, sleep deprivation.
she looks the happiest.
So the classic, you know, the most beautiful woman in the world during the 50s and 60s, you know, heralded one of the most beautiful women of all time, heroin addict, coke head, addicted to sleeping pills, alcoholic.
Seriously,
Believe it,
the
yeah,
rugby
not
players.
healthy. So which one?
The rugby players.
The rugby players, thank you. This one here is the only indicator of a holistic health, yeah, and a healthy body. However, those individuals there on the BMI scale are obese. Because of their muscle mass and their fat mass, the holistic approach to the numbers game that the government tell us BMI is the key to how healthy you are, and your waist to hip ratio is an indication of how healthy you are. All those women on that picture up there, top right, fail miserably. Except they are the healthiest on there. We've got undereater, we've got low body fat and probably steroid user, definite steroid user, absolute steroid user, heavy drinker, body fat percentage of under 7%, yeah, not healthy. Yeah? 6 months of dieting and being on between 1,000 and 1,500 calories for 6 months and only eating rocket, yeah, looked amazing on the day, yeah, had an amazing day, not very healthy. Yeah. Obviously, we've spoken about Marilyn. So we've got to make sure that we understand what health is. And health isn't a number on the scales. Health isn't a body shape or a body size. I think we spoke about it before with Brian, isn't it? Yeah. With regard to just being happy in your own skin. Yeah. Health is a holistic approach to how you feel, not how you look. Yeah. And society makes us want to look like this. Well, maybe not like that or like that, but wants us to make it look like this, and definitely we all want to look like that if we're men over 50, but it's not very healthy, okay? Right, we're going to have a little game now, okay, called higher, lower game. I want to know what you see when you make food decisions, yeah? So what do you see with regard to a number, okay? Because calories in versus calories out is the equation for weight gain and weight loss, yeah? So do you understand what the number equates to when you make decisions for your food? Okay. So I'm going to put up a food up here, and someone's going to make a guess to what the calorie number is, okay, for that food. And then after that, we're going to go, is the next one higher or is the next one lower? Okay. I don't want Nigel answering the first question because I know he'll know what it is because he counts calories. I can't do. Okay. So first of all, healthy or unhealthy?
Healthy.
Depends how it's cooked.
No, it doesn't depend how it's cooked at all. there we go. We'll get onto that one. Fat is not the problem. Okay, fat is not unhealthy. Fat is important, and fat doesn't make you fat. Okay, so are we talking healthy or unhealthy? What have we got? Healthy.
Healthy.
Healthy. Yeah, and fat very healthy. Yeah, very healthy. Yeah. Are we? Someone give me a number for what the calories are. If you were to look at a packet, if that was in a packet, what would the calories be? Somebody?
350?
Honestly,
350. We saying 350? Yeah. Everybody happy with 350? Okay, so we're going 350 is our starting point for bacon and eggs. That's 1 egg and 2 rashers of bacon. Yeah. Okay. So are we going higher or lower? Higher.
50 grams.
So we're going higher for math D's. Yeah. So 500 ml glass of orange juice, real orange juice.
Higher.
You reckon higher as well?
Yeah, because of the sugar.
And what type of sugar is it, Tom? Fructose. Yeah, nasty sugar. If I was to make a choice between that and alcohol, I would take the alcohol all day long. That's not a healthy choice for morning breakfast, trust me. Your body can't metabolize fructose. It uses it for storage of body fat around the liver.
Well, didn't somebody say, Dan, that for athletes, you're better off drinking a non-alcoholic beer than you are some of these isotonic drinks?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially anything with a high FI number, fructose number.
You're saying it's a piece of orange at half time when you're playing football isn't a good idea?
No, because that has fibre in it. Yeah, and has anybody squeezed an orange? Yeah, and you eat one orange, you know how much orange juice comes out of one orange, a decent sized orange? About 100 mils. And you'll drink 5 times that in a glass for breakfast, yeah? So next one, Mars bar, 40 gram bar, which is a kind of medium sized Mars bar. Huh? Lower than the orange juice or higher?
Yeah, lower.
Lower?
No, a lot of people think it's higher.
Right, a pint of lager. Same. That's an interesting one. We go higher, lower, the same.
It's higher or lower again.
You can't dump the Mars bar in.
Right, just a pint of lager, that's all I've put.
Slightly higher. Depends on alcohol and alcoholic strength.
Correct. And we'll get into that one in a minute. Okay, 100 gram of avocado. Higher or lower? Cool. Higher or lower? Lower. Lower than the lager. And then a 40 gram bar of Cadbury's chocolate. Good old lovely chocolate. My favourite. My kryptonite. Apart from Reese's peanut butter cupcakes. Which is the healthiest food on the planet. So we go higher or lower for the chocolate? Higher. Yeah, of course it is. Higher than the avocado. Right. Okay. So the reason I did this, just to give you, you started off at 350 and then you're going to make judgment calls on whether the foods are higher or lower. So then you're making a judgment call on how much you're eating in a day based on your perception of the food that's on your plate. Yeah? Me and him weigh our food. Yes, you do. Yeah.
Your vanity's going to come out.
Yeah, we're probably quite good at judging. I can eyeball mine now, so I know what 200 calories looks like. I know what 1,000 calories looks like. I know what 1,000 calories feels like as well when you've eaten it. So you make a judgment call. So on a daily basis, you're actually deciding how much food you need based on an incorrect judgment. First of all, bacon and eggs under 200 calories. So. Yeah, 200 for bacon and eggs. Yeah, because everybody thinks that's unhealthy and it's going to be high in calories. It's not. Yeah. So the next one, the McDonald's, the fries, even less. That's a small bag of the fries. Yeah. Massively high. That's one. You got that one right. A Mars bar, lower. Well done. Pint of lager. 200 calories for a Foster's, but if you get one of the Belgian lagers, Your
Foster's is crap.
is 400.
I was waiting for you to find
If you want one of the Stella Artois, they're like 380 calories. So you could actually go, a pint of lager is only 200 calories if you know 200 calories in a pint of lager. And yet you go and buy Stella, and it's nearly twice the amount. Yeah? Avocado, nearly the same as a pint of lager. So,
Yeah, we got that one right.
yeah, that one was right. And the Cadbury Spirulina.
Is that the
We
one I
got
said
the avocado
second?
right as well.
Yeah, it
No,
was.
oh, right, okay. Just say, right. Now, it was only like a little bit of fun, just to kind of make you see that when you're looking at food, sometimes your starting point is wrong. Yeah? And when you look at what is a calorie number, all you need to understand is that's the difference between weight gain and weight loss. We've not talked about whether it's healthy, apart from the top one, or unhealthy. I wouldn't have the French fries. I wouldn't have the 500 mils of orange juice. I wouldn't have the Mars bar. I definitely wouldn't have the lager because I'm teetotal. I definitely would have the avocado, and I would have the chocolate because I love chocolate. Healthy and unhealthy is nothing to do with the numbers. Yeah, the numbers is about whether it's weight gain or weight loss. Yeah, okay. So diet versus nutrition. Okay, so what is a diet? Who here has been on a diet? I know you have. Yeah. What, have you been on a diet? Okay. So a diet is a short-term fix, yeah, a plan based on a caloric deficit, or targeting certain food groups or timings to promote weight loss. Yeah, that's what a diet is in general.
I had a diet for weight gain.
Yeah, you had a diet for weight gain. Yeah, yeah. I could put and/or weight gain. Yeah, generally it's for weight loss. Yeah, okay. Nutrition is eating real food with a balanced approach, which is sustainable and is a lifestyle choice. It's not a short-term fix. It's something you do forever. Yeah? This is to be avoided unless you have a specific target, because you will be on a diet and then you will be off a diet. Yeah? So from a mindset perspective and a mental perspective, if you're on a diet, you're always under that stress that you've got to stay on that diet. And those numbers on that scale affect you from a mental perspective. Yeah? Have a poor mindset with regard to what's happening on the scales. You gain a pound, you lose a pound. Yeah.
Mine's gone from that to that though.
Yeah. So this is the healthy approach where
I've done that, and in doing so, it's
I
made
think that's
me
becoming
fat.
more and more common.
Yeah.
You know, but people
Yeah,
are
also,
realising that
yeah.
diet is not necessarily
bad diets are
the right thing.
they have a purpose and a place, but they have to be understood that they're only for a short term. Long-term dieting doesn't happen. It's impossible. You cannot just keep on losing weight. Yeah? There's a finite point where a diet cannot function. Yeah? It has a period of time, it has a lifespan. From a mental perspective, they are very, very damaging to your mental well-being and your mindset for your holistic approach to your health and well-being, because you're focused on what is that number on the scales. I can't eat that. I can't eat this. This is healthy. That's unhealthy. Yeah, and then that affects your mental state and your decision making. And if your decision making at the start is wrong, then you're on a loser right from the get-go. Yeah. You'll see where I'm going on it. Okay. Okay. They are all different. So weight loss and dieting, general health, fitness, and I've called that VO2 fitness. That's your heart and your lungs, your ability to be able to run a marathon, cycle a bike for a long period of time, climb the stairs, etc., etc. Strength and conditioning, healthy living and a lifestyle, and general happiness. They are all different. You can do every single one of these individually, or you can do all of these in one go. They can be mutually exclusive, yeah? Or they can be all combined. But being on a weight loss dieting program is definitely not going to be healthy. Yeah? You don't have to lose weight to be healthy and have a healthy lifestyle and be happy. You don't have to be fit from a VO2 perspective to be strong in the gym, and you don't have to be fit and strong to have general health. Yeah? They are all very different, but society packages them all up into, if you are, and go back to the pictures, if you're a certain size or a certain shape, then you are going to be healthy. And healthy can be a number of different things. And one of them is the last one, which is general happiness, and you being happy, being in your own body, in your own skin. Yeah? And the more people kind of understand that it's not a target on the scales, or a belt size, or a trouser size, then the happier you will be for your general output and outlook on life. Food and mindset, what we eat and think. This is where the hormones come into place. Okay? So what you think controls your decision making. Okay? We all agree with that? Yeah? What happens here is the outcome for you deciding what you're going to do. Whether that's a good decision or a bad decision, it's down to what you are thinking. Yeah? What you eat affects how you think. So how you are fueling yourself actually has a really strong direction on the decisions that you're making. And how you think affects how you feel. And all of these are affected by what happens inside us. So we've got hormones like dopamine, testosterone, ghrelin, insulin, and leptin. Okay? This one is a really, really important one that people misunderstand. Does everybody know what ghrelin is? No, it's not a hormone. Everybody knows what testosterone is, yeah? Yeah? Men and women have testosterone. Very good for men's mental health. Testosterone levels elevated in males, especially over 40 and over 50, are really important for mental health. If your testosterone is low as a man, you are more likely to be in that category for depression, suicide, anxiety, all those sort of things. All those emotions are affected by testosterone. Yeah? Women are affected by testosterone as well, but yours is more, there's a I'll use the word, there's a defined period to which those hormones affect you. Your testosterone will rise and you will feel slightly aggressive and probably a little bit grumpy. And then, but that's what testosterone is, the male hormone, and it governs how aggressive you're going to be. Yeah, because men with a lot of testosterone will generally be aggressive individuals. Roid rage is because their testosterone levels are beyond what is natural for a human being to sustain. But testosterone as a hormone is very, very important. Unfortunately, testosterone is also massively affected by this one. Insulin is the kryptonite for testosterone. Yeah? And add insulin with cortisol, yeah, the stress hormone, testosterone dives through the floor. Yeah? So if you are eating food groups which are high in sugar continually, and if you have, quick chemistry lesson, insulin rises when you have sugar in your blood. Fat mobilization for weight loss cannot happen when you have insulin in your system. Insulin has to drop. Leptin then rises once your blood sugar level is balanced. Leptin is the hormone that then metabolizes fat, or allows fat to be metabolized around the body. Leptin cannot be present when insulin is high. They are yin and yang. Yeah? Insulin high, cortisol high, testosterone drops. So you can see how making decisions on what you're eating as a man on a construction site can be massively affected by having a high sugar and a high carbohydrate diet continually. Yeah? One, you get weight gain. Two, you get testosterone drop. And testosterone and the female hormone estrogen are yin and yang as well. So as testosterone drops and weight gains, estrogen rises. Estrogen is related to excessive amounts of fat. That's why women have more body fat than men. Yeah? So I'm not being flippant here, but if you are a heavy drinker and you have a beer belly, you are literally turning yourself into a woman, because your estrogen will be rising. Yeah? That's what happens with a beer belly. Yeah? And they are always in flux. But the reason I'm making this point is because your decisions on your food affect all these hormones. Dopamine goes up when we take sugar. We enjoy eating sugary foods because dopamine affects. Yeah? Dopamine goes up, insulin goes up, testosterone falls. Therefore, we like the hit of dopamine, but we're actually having a detrimental effect on our ability to act rationally as a man. You're actually changing your physiological perception on the world because your testosterone is dropping. That's how it affects your brain. So all these and a number of other hormones are very, very important with regard to how you are mentally. So if we only look at the bolt-ons with regard to safety procedures and giving people somewhere to talk about their problems and a poster in the tea room and a gym membership and those sort of things, and bringing out the day work processes to actually give people a perception that the business is looking after their mental health, when really you could actually look at health and nutrition and being fit as being a real driver for changing the way people feel about themselves, because your hormones are absolutely key to how you feel. Yeah?
What is ghrelin?
Oh, so, ghrelin, yeah. Ghrelin is, they call it the alarm clock hormone. So has anybody had a grumbly tummy mid-morning when they haven't had something to eat? Who's had a grumbly tummy? Everybody's had a grumbly tummy, yeah? The grumbly tummy is not you being hungry. People go, oh, starving. Yeah? No, you're not. One, you don't know what starving feels like. I know what starving feels like because I've been less than 1,000 calories for 5 months. That's starving. Controlled starvation it was. But ghrelin goes off based on your habits. So you have a habit of getting up in the morning, cafe goes on, you have your coffee, you have your porridge, you then go off to work, then mid-morning you have some biscuits and coffee, and then 1 o'clock-ish you have your lunch, you have a sandwich, and then in the afternoon you have a cup of coffee, maybe some more biscuits and a bag of crisps, then in the evening you have eating your meal, sit down, and there's normally a timing, 7 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, 1 o'clock, 3:30, 6 o'clock, yeah? That's a habit. Your body gets used to your habits, and it has an alarm clock. So at 10:30, if you haven't had something to eat, it goes, we're ready for our food now, and our gut biome are all ready to go, boys. Here we go. There's no food. Here we go. And they go, and so they set off an alarm inside your body saying, our stomach is ready for digestion. We're ready to go, because this is the time you eat, and you're not eating. So it is just telling you, you normally eat at this time, because it normally goes off at the same time. You go, I always get hungry about 11 o'clock. No, you normally eat at 11 o'clock, so your body tells you you need to eat. That's not you being hungry. So if you want to do something like intermittent fasting as a weight loss program, which I have done before and would happily do again, which is not having any breakfast in the morning in your first meals, you're breaking your fast at lunchtime, and you may go 16 hours without. It takes about 2 weeks to reset that clock. And after a period of time, after about 2 weeks, you don't have that alarm clock of that hungry feeling at 11 o'clock or 10:30, because your body's actually reset itself. It says, I don't normally eat now, so I don't eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when that alarm clock goes off. Yeah? So if you understand how your hormones are affected by the food you eat and decisions you make based around your nutrition, you're better placed to actually put yourself into a mentally balanced place from your mental health perspective. Okay? And we'll look at a couple of case studies where the ghrelin and the insulin were tested with regard to how people think. Okay? So case study number 1. Now, I apologise, some of you have heard this one already, okay? But I think it's quite important, and it's these 2 studies really do for me identify how we function as human beings from a hormone perspective and a mindset perspective, and we can actually you can actually think yourself thin on the basis of this information. But you ladies might not actually think the food is good for you. It will actually be good for you, yeah, to a degree. Yeah, you can only go so far. But okay, so these, before I get into the 2 case studies we're looking at, this was based on, in America, they did some testing on placebo effect. Everybody understand what placebo effect is? Yeah? Okay, so the placebo effect is your ability to change what actually happened to you by you thinking in that way, because you're being fooled. Yeah? Blind tested on drugs is what they do with placebo effect, to see whether there is actually an effect, because human beings can fool themselves by thinking that paracetamol is actually paracetamol when it's not. So you give yourself your own stimulus with regard to the drug you're taking. It was based around operations on backs that had to be done without general anaesthetic. So the patient had to be awake whilst they were having the operation on their back because of the nerve damage that they might be doing whilst they were doing these very complex back operations. And we had 2 groups, and because of funding, only one set of the patients over this period of time had interaction with a human being with regard to the administration of the painkillers whilst they were being operated on. Yeah? The other group had the painkillers for the operation administered by a machine. So it was just a machine, no interaction with a human being. Their response afterwards with regard to their reporting on how the anaesthetic worked, bearing in mind they all had exactly the same procedure, the demographic was very, very similar, the genders were all similar, their response to how they felt from a pain relief perspective, 80% of the ones that had the interaction with the human being was a positive response, that they felt very little. Their recovery period afterwards, post-operation, was much, much faster compared to the ones that was administered by a machine, where it was very cold and stark and there was no interaction with any human being. They were just given the painkillers. 80% of them said they felt pain during the operation and their recovery was much worse. So that obviously individuals involved in the operation thought this was quite an interesting set of results. So they did some more studies on how the mind can affect what you think is happening. Because obviously from a chemical perspective, they all had exactly the same process. Yeah? From the actual operation perspective, it was all exactly the same, but their response was very different based on their interaction. Just having a nurse talk to them whilst they're having the painkillers changed the way they felt about the outcome. Yeah? So they did the first test they did was they took two groups, and they basically offered them 20 quid, or $20, but I put pounds because I'm not putting euros because it's still in the EU. So they gave them £20 to fill out a questionnaire on how they felt that day. They did it in a shopping centre, okay, and they took one group into one room in the shopping centre in a disused shop, and they gave them the 20 quid and asked them to fill out the form. Okay, one group was a very stark, cold environment. No one spoke to them. They just said, "Here's the questionnaire. When you filled it out, you get 20 quid." And it was very grey, cold, stark, no music, no comfort, nothing. And they were given iced coffee whilst they filled out the questionnaire. Okay. The second group were taken into another room. They were given the same questionnaire. They were told they were going to get £20 for filling out the questionnaire on how they were feeling that day. It was only about how they were feeling. It was a warm room. There was sofas. There was nice music. There were people to talk to. There was a lot of human interaction. It was a very friendly environment. They filled out the same questionnaire. The results were quite stark. And what do you think the results from group number one with regard to how they were feeling were going to be?
Negative.
Negative. 95% negative. Didn't feel very good. Weren't very happy. The day was shit. Yeah, that was pretty much the response from 95% of the people who filled out group number one. What do you reckon group number two of it? It was positive. Great day. Enjoying their time. Lovely. They were quite happy with where they were. You know, it was just about how they were feeling on the day, not their life, just on how they were feeling on the day. They were very happy. They thought the day was a lovely day. Shopping with their family, their wife wasn't spending too much money, that sort of stuff. It was a good day. Yeah, credit card wasn't smashed, etc., etc. Okay. So that result, I don't think was too astounding. No one's going to be astounded by that. You're not. The more astounding one was that outside the room or the old disused shops in the mall, they had purposely put charity boxes, people with holding charity buckets. Yeah. 97% of group number two, 97% put their £20 in the charity box. So them feeling good and having human interaction made them make a decision to help somebody else. Yeah. Guess what? 92% of group number one did.
Get those out.
Spent it on themselves in the shopping mall. Went out and spent it on themselves. They felt shit about themselves, so they go, I'm going to go spend it on myself. Yeah? I've got 20 quid, let's try and make myself feel better. Decision making based on environment, cold, stark, no human interaction. So we're into, let's talk to our employees, let's make sure they're feeling okay, let's have a bit of human interaction, let's make sure the environment they're working in is a nice one. They're more likely to make better kind of decisions on a daily basis compared to being beaten with a stick, having no soft furnishing, no table tennis on the building site, no sort of, Rapa Nui have soft furnishing and they have a little indoor football arena, they can go and play football and stuff. Their employees are very, very happy. One, they're more likely to stay, so you're going to have less churn of employees, and 2, they're happier individuals. You've actually done something holistically, which isn't a poster in the tea room about, you know, have a number to go and talk, which is all very good, and I think it's really important that somebody's got to have that information. But the holistic approach with giving them the support with regard to, I care about you as an individual, is far more important than gym membership and bring an apple to day work schemes. Yeah? Case study number 2. Now they did about 8 case studies, but I just took these 2 because I thought they were very interesting. This one is the one about the hormones. Okay? And take note of this if anybody wants to lose weight. Okay? Because there's some key information of something which I have a pathological hatred of. Okay? So group number 1. Well, it was one group. What they did, they took one group and they gave them 2 protein shakes over 1 different week. So week 1 they came in and they had a protein shake, and then week 2 they came in and had another protein shake. Okay? And then they told them what was in the protein shake, and then they tested their hormones. So they did some tests before they drank the shake, and they did some tests 2 hours afterwards. So they were testing their reaction to the food that they were consuming. Okay, so how hungry were they from their hormones, their ghrelin in their body beforehand, and then how long after did that take to dissipate, and then for their insulin to rise, and then insulin to drop, and then leptin to rise. Okay, so that's what they were looking at. Ghrelin drop, insulin rise, insulin drop, leptin rise. Okay, which is the process we all go through when we eat and digest. Okay, and then use that food for energy. Okay, so day 1. Shake was called indulgence. Yeah? What do you reckon that's going to be? Yeah? You saw it was in a purple cup with a gold rim, and it had indulgence written on it. Okay? And it was chocolate flavour. And they had the calorie number on the back, you know, how many calories was in the shake. 1,500 calories was the shake. And it was very thick and it was very rich. It was 1,000 mils of the protein shake. And they were asked to drink it after they'd had their blood tested for glucose and all those sort of things, right? And then they tested for hormone reaction. Okay. Some of the participants couldn't finish it. Okay? They said it was too rich and too filling. They couldn't finish it. Okay? On day 2, it was actually the following week, but on the other day, they gave them a healthy option. It was called the healthy option shake. It was in a white cup. It had some green leaves on it. Okay. The caloric information on the back was it was low fat, it was low calorie, it was 500 calories. Yeah. And they were asked to drink it, and they did again tests on the hormones before they drank it and after, 2 hours after. The results again were, I think, quite amazing. Right. First of all, who can guess the difference between the 2 shakes?
Sluts.
Huh?
Sluts, I think, is probably better.
Have I got an spelling mistake, right?
The other bottom line.
Oh, the re-sluts, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I told you, I'm dyslexic. I've read that 3 times. Oh, that says results, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, the re-sluts. I remember you saw the one on the PowerPoint for on the road, the one mistake I made on that one. Right? I still don't know whether effects or affects is the right way. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. The results were amazing. I think they were amazing. Okay. So who can guess the difference between the 2 shakes from a caloric perspective?
And obviously the other way around.
Nope.
Right? So,
They were exactly the same. They were both 750 calories. So they were told 500 and 1,500 calories. So 1,000 calories between them, and one group couldn't finish the chocolate indulgent ones. It was too rich and too heavy. Yeah? Both shakes were 750 calories, exactly the same. The only difference, one had chocolate flavoured powder in it. That was the only difference in the actual shake itself. Apart from that, they were identical. So one was brown, one was cream, yeah? And what was on the cups and what was written on the cups. So they've already made a mental decision that that was going to be rich and heavy, and their mind tells them they couldn't finish it. Interesting from a eating food perspective, if you think it's going to be rich, there's a fair chance that your body will react that way, yeah? Low calorie and low fat. There was no low fat in it, and it wasn't low calorie. It was exactly the same. But their bodies suggested otherwise, because their hormone reaction on the lower ones, on the top ones, very normal. Insulin rose, insulin dropped, leptin rose in the right timings. Yeah, ghrelin was there present before they had the shake, yeah, because they were fasted beforehand. Okay, the minute they consumed it, within an hour, ghrelin had gone. Yeah, on the second option, where it's the low calorie and low fat, you can get ghrelin was still present 2 hours afterwards. So their bodies, because of what their minds had perceived they were actually consuming, kept their ghrelin levels higher than what they had with the other one, even though the only difference is brown powder. So again, if you're eating low-fat food, yeah, there's a perception from your mind that it's going to be healthy, but it's not going to be very filling. Yeah? So you're actually doing the reverse to what you're still going to be hungry, and you're going to want to eat more. You're better off avoiding the low-fat stuff and actually eating just normal balanced food, because if they take out fat, they're going to be putting in sugar. Yeah. So if you look at this from a mindset perspective, yeah, what you read, and we started here, you know, what you saw first of all, guessed on 350, and then decisions were made based on that. Decisions were made based on numbers on the back of packets. So when you read your packets, yeah, you are making emotional decisions based on the food that you're consuming, and it will have effect on your hormone reaction and then your mental state. Because if you don't think you're being, you know, filled up by the food that you're satiated by the food you're going to eat, then you're going to eat more food, even though you don't actually need it. Yeah. Okay. So the results of that and what it means. How you feel affects your decisions. Again, on building sites, guys that are cold, wet, hungry, miserable, no human interaction, asked to work incredibly hard in stark conditions. The industry we work in is a hard, brutal industry. They're going to make decisions based on how they feel. Making decisions on how you feel on a construction site can cost lives. Yeah? If you're not wanting to carry out the procedure in the way that it's meant to be because you don't feel very happy with yourself, because people aren't talking to you and it's a cold, wet, miserable day and you've only got one horrible cup of Bovril inside you, it's meant to be coffee, then you're not going to make proper decisions, okay? But it's based on how your hormones react inside you. What you think can affect your body's reaction. What can we learn? Be mindful of the emotional reaction to food, and at all times think positively, because even if you're eating something which is crap, if you actually think it's actually going to be good for you, there's a fair chance your body will help you. Yeah? You can think yourself to lose weight, you can think yourself to be healthier, if that's the way that you actually have the positive mindset to do so. Exercise and healthy eating with a positive mindset is the answer. And I'm a huge subscriber to that. And exercise, I mean, we talked about food, but if you add in exercise, is one of the best remedies for depression for men and women over the age of 40. If you feel good, you look good, you have a positive hormone response, you'll sleep better, etc., etc. It's a positive cycle rather than a negative cycle. If we can give the gym membership and they actually use it, and then we can inform our employees on how to use nutrition correctly, you can actually make yourself feel better about yourself. You'll have a much better sense of self-worth, because you'll feel that your body's in better condition, you'll look better, you'll fit your clothes better, your wives and husbands will think you're actually looking pretty good for a 52-year-old. Yeah? And the cycle of positive mindset is massively important for a holistic health. Okay, eat healthily to support the exercise, because if you're exercising you need to use the right nutrition, and then you will sleep better, feel better, recover better, and have a much better sense of self-worth. I think if doctors, GPs can actually prescribe, especially for men over 40, that exercise is the answer and not a set of drugs to make them sleep. Sleeping pills don't make you sleep, they just comatose you. Drugs are never the answer, I think, for reversing this sort of situation. Exercise and eating properly is the key, because the other things are a byproduct of that. Think positively, and then you have a full set. So, quick guide to nutrition. This won't take very long. It's common sense, as we said. So, eat real food. Sausage rolls and pucker pies don't grow on trees. People say, what do you mean by eat real food? I have my own personal guide. Go into a supermarket, grab out your favourite processed food, read the packet, the label on the back, and see if you can find the ingredients in Morrison's. or other supermarkets are available. In case this is going out onto the internet, any supermarket. And see if you can find the ingredients on the back of the packet. If you can't find them in the supermarket, then you can't make it yourself, your gran cannot make it, don't eat it. That's my view. Or if you eat it, understand the decisions you're making. Yeah? So eat real food. Eat veggies to your, come out your ears. Real meats, salads, small amount of carbs, green vegetables, blah, 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 blah. Good fats. Fats are good for you. Fats don't make you fat. Overeating makes you fat. So nuts, avocados, olives, fish, all good fats. Eggs, bacon, all good. Reduce the starchy white carbs, which are high in GI. GI indexes how high your glucose spike will be. Reduce your fruit intake. Fructose is not good for you on any shape or form. Avoid alcohol, trans fats, vegetable oils, processed foods, sugars, low-fat options. Low-fat options are my pet hate. I don't know why anybody would eat anything which is a low-fat option, because all they've done is put chemicals and sugar in it to make it taste nice, take fat out, it tastes horrible. White bread, sweeteners, aspartame, fruit juices, processed cereals. Portion size is key. Anybody know that your fist is the size of your empty stomach? So if you're blessed with big hands, you can eat more food. So, obviously it does stretch, but effectively that is an empty stomach. So once you've had that or a little bit more, that size of a gloved hand, that's all you need on your plate, rather than all you can eat buffet. Fat is not bad, but you've got to make sure it's the good fats, not the trans fats. And then supplements. Supplementation, especially for men and women over the age of 40, is massively important. I subscribe to making sure that you have vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin B12, especially for women, iron, zinc, magnesium. Yeah, that's about it. On a daily basis, and because we don't eat food out of the ground anymore, so we don't have any of those natural minerals like boron and stuff like that which come off soil. We don't eat soil like we used to when we were kids. You used to go and eat the soil outside. Your gran used to dig potatoes and carrots out of the garden. That had all good minerals on it. We don't have those anymore. They're all clean. So you need to supplement. Right, quick summary. The mindset is key. Your mind is the key to everything. So if you think positively, you're going to have a positive outcome. Even if you're eating something which isn't particularly healthy for you, if you have a positive mindset about it, it's going to be more positive for you. Exercise, eat healthily, common sense. It's got to be long-term, as a skill, not a quick fix. Don't do diets unless you've got a specific reason to do so. Make an informed decision around your nutrition, to understand the numbers and understand what the foods are made up of and how it affects you from a hormone perspective. Eat real foods, low in GI. Understand the GI scale. If you don't know the GI scale, get to know it, because if you continually have high insulin, especially for men, all day, if it's carbs all day, every day, especially crappy sugar foods and processed foods, you're only in one direction, which is pre-diabetic. Body size is not an indicator of health, okay? You've just got to be happy with who you are, and you can be healthy and have a high BMI, and you can be unhealthy with a very low BMI. Be happy being you. End of something completely different. Any questions? I love the questions and answers. It's always the best. No, whoa. One at a time. One at a time. Don't all shout.
Have you got any good ideas of how you can kind of implement it on a building site? Because I mean, you can tell the guys, like, all the stuff that you've set up there, because you kind of taught it at schools, but you can't stop them bringing in the Greg's pasties and things. So it's like, do you have any tips that you think could be useful?
Yes. Plan. That's my tip. Sunday evening, Tupperware. Make it Sunday evening with the family, cook, real food, put it in a Tupperware pot, then you've got a meal for every single day and take it to work, pop it in the microwave, real food, salad in a pot. You can go to Morrison's and get 2 boiled eggs and a salad bar for £2.25, much cheaper than the Greg's pasty, much better for you.
I mean, does anybody, I don't know if anybody else on building sites like offers food or fruit or anything to the guys? Because I mean, the issue sometimes that we have is that the guys just don't have any money. And we were talking earlier about the fact that if you've got the choice between...
Give them sausage and chips, it makes them happy, they keep working.
Well, there is an argument for that, because if you think about the warm and satisfying thing, you know, and it's a balanced thing as well. So I'm not so pure with my nutrition that everything that I eat is not unhealthy. I have lots of unhealthy elements to my diet that I go on, or my nutritional plan that I have for the week. But I make sure kind of 70 to 80% of it is real wholesome food. Now, if that 30% is the lunchtime on the building site where they have a Greg's pasty, then that's fine. As long as the rest of the 70% of the day, it's good, honest, wholesome, real food. So education with regard to what they're eating, because if they're having McDonald's breakfast, yeah, then they're having crisps and biscuits, tea break, then they're having a Greg's pasty and sausage roll with tomato sauce for lunch. Then afternoon they're having more crisps and biscuits, and then in the evening they're back in McDonald's, or they've made a change to spice it up a bit and gone to KFC. Then that's not a healthy approach to their whole nutritional intake. 30%, 20%, I do it 80-20. 20% is unhealthy, processed food, mainly mine sort of the chocolate and those sort of things that I like to have as a treat, because it's a lifestyle, not a punishment. But the rest of it is a lifestyle choice with regard to what you do for the rest of your day.
The thing though that's important to realise is that when you're thinking about behaviour change in people, sort of giving them education and the facts isn't usually enough to influence people in their behaviour. So, you know, we were talking quite a lot about feelings.
Yeah.
You know, some of the studies I've done is that, you know, humans aren't rational animals. In fact, quite often they're just the opposite. And so we've got to sort of couch it in such a way that, first of all, if you're saying to somebody, well, you shouldn't do something anymore, I think as we've already said, that's quite a negative thing.
Yeah.
And people will not continue to do long term. So it's how do you couch it into something that's positive, with positive aims, positive goals. And I think we're struggling with that. So having worked in public health, and you look at the national strategy for obesity, for other areas of behaviour change necessary for physical improvement, we're not doing a very good job. And it's, you know, we've got to improve on that and find more positive ways for people to change their behaviour.
Well, the if I can show that picture. That picture of me up there. From a positive perspective, I did all my bloods. I think I recommend to any man over the age of 40 that you go to the GP and you get your bloods done. Yeah, it's not invasive. I thought it was going to be. I was going to be singing like Michael Jackson for a week, and it was going to be invasive and not very pleasant. It wasn't. It was 2 vials of blood taken and sent away. 2 weeks later, I got all the results. When I was 50, 2 years ago, I did it, and my testosterone was 13, and the scale for testosterone is 0 to 30. If you're over 25, you're probably on some enhancement, or you are so genetically blessed that your testosterone is beyond what is normal. If you are below 9 or below, single figures for a man, that is low testosterone, that's depression, that's needing some sort of artificial enhancement from the GP, yeah, or a process of improving it. Mine was 13 when I was 50. I got it done again at the beginning of this year. And through the process of getting fit and pushing weights and building muscle and sleeping better and eating better, my testosterone was 20.5, which is the same as a 25-year-old man who's at the point where his testosterone is just about to start depleting. So it's not a kind of, it's the end of the game for especially men over 40 with regard to their positive position with their own physical health. Now, fine, from a body fat percentage, I'm not very healthy there. You know, that's not sustainable. You can't keep that up. Now I'm probably about 12% body fat, which is about right for me. So from a positive outcome perspective, eating right, sleeping right, exercising right, boosts your testosterone, therefore you feel better, you look better, your wife thinks you look better, you feel better about yourself when you're on holiday in Tenerife because you put your shorts on and you walk on the beach. on making sure your sleep is right and you feel good about yourself, because it's a positive roller coaster and cycle rather than a negative one. So we have to reverse that by actually going, this is the outcome. If you do it, your outcome and your outlook for your later years in life, you know, my risk of dementia will go down, my risk of heart attack is massively reduced. I'm 0.8% likely to have a heart attack, you know, in the next 15 years from the GP statistics. Whether that's right or not, I don't know, but I like being in below 1% risk of heart attack. Yeah? Risk of diabetes has gone down. Everything is a positive with regard to eating healthy, exercising and sleeping right.
But isn't it
And
also...
there's three things. It's not a massive change in your life. It's sleeping right, eating right, exercising.
Isn't it also how you eat? Because if you look at the French, I mean, they're supposed to eat all the wrong stuff and drink all the wrong stuff according to what our medical people say you should eat and drink, but they're far healthier than us. But and it's because they take their time, and eating is a more sociable occasion.
Their
Too
mindset
many people,
towards food
perhaps,
is a positive
and
one.
I'm guilty of it. I tend to bulk my food because I'm going to get on to the next job.
Yeah. No, you want to take your time and enjoy your food and chew properly. That's a definite. But you know, sometimes we can give everybody, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but a pencil must be lead, that sort of thing. Yeah? We all know those adages. It's about personal responsibility sometimes. You know, take personal responsibility for my own physical and mental condition. And I don't, you know, I'm in a position where I'm not bulletproof, but I'm in a good place. I'm in a better place than most 50-year-olds, and I know there's another one on the table there that's exactly the same. You know, regardless of what goes on externally, if you eat right, sleep right, exercise, the rest of it is kind of manageable. And it's just 3 little changes in your life. 3 little changes, and that's it. And the sleeping comes from the exercise and the eating. That's a byproduct, so it's actually only 2. Yeah? So 2 changes in your life. Exercise more, and for men I'd say resistance training. You don't need to go pounding the streets running. You don't need, my heart health is as good now as what it was when I was 25, and I don't go running. I don't do any cardio. But I can, you know, when I was on holiday last week at Centre Parks, me and one of the other people that I went on holiday with, we went for a 6k run. I ran 6k without any treatment. She runs every single day, and I ran 6k without even worrying about it. So my heart health is in good condition. It's not about pounding the streets and doing those sort of things. Just push weights, eat healthily, and sleep right is a byproduct. It's as easy as that. And if your mindset with regard to your nutrition is positive, and I say you've got the full set, because you think right, you act right, you eat right, everything else falls into place. And then you'll start, the individuals will start finding, we'll use that as a positive example of how you actually reverse the snowball which is going this way, so diabetes, heart attack and everything else negative with regard to middle age as it goes on. To reverse that, it takes a little bit of work to do, but once you get it moving in the other direction, then it's actually quite easy to maintain. It's not a difficult thing. But I can only deal with what goes on in my head. Right, any more questions? You all right there? Anybody want a nutritional plan? Right, thank you. Right.